My name is Trent McCallum, and I am representing Grace United Church. Today's reading is from Joshua, chapters 18 to 21, and I will be reading from the New International Version of the Bible. The whole assembly of the Israelites gathered at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The country was brought under control, but there were still 7 Israelite tribes who had not yet received their inheritance. So Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Appoint 3 men from each tribe. I will send them out to make a survey of the land and to write a description of it, according to the inheritance of each. Then they will return to me. You are to divide the land into 7 parts. Judah is to remain in its territory on the south, and the tribes of Joseph in their territory on the north. After you have written descriptions of the 7 parts of the land, bring them here to me, and I will cast lots for you in the presence of the Lord our God. The Levites, however, did not get a portion among you, because the priestly service of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance on the east side of Jordan. Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave it to them." As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua instructed them, "Go and make a survey of the land, and write a description of it. Then return to me. I will cast lots for you here at Shiloh and the presence of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord." So the men left and went through the land. They wrote down its description on a scroll, town by town, in 7 parts, and returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh and in the presence of the Lord, and there he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their tribal divisions. The first lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin, according to its clans. Their allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. On the north side, their boundary began at the Jordan, passing past the northern slope of Jericho, and headed west into the hill country, coming out at the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there it crossed to the south slope of Luz, that is Bethel, and went down to the Ataroth Adar on the hill, south of Lo Beth Horon. From the hill facing Beth Horon on the south, the boundary turned south along the western side and came out at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, the town of the people of Judah. This was the western side. The southern side began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim on the west, and the boundary came out at the spring of the waters of Nephtoah. The boundary went down to the foot of the hill facing the valley of Ben Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim, and it continued down the Hinnom Valley along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, and so to On Rogel. Then it carved north and went to En Shemesh, continued to Geliloth, which faces the pass of Udamim, and ran down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. It continued to the southern slope of Beth Arabah and on down into the Arabah. Then it went to the northern slope of Beth Hoglah and came out on the north bay of the Dead Sea and the mouth of the Jordan in the south. This was the southern boundary. The Jordan formed the boundary on the eastern side. These were the boundaries that marked out the inheritance of the clans of Benjamin on all sides. The tribe of Benjamin, according to its clans, had the following towns: Jericho, Beth Hoglah, Emek Keziz, Beth Arabah, Zemaraim Bethel, Avim, Para, Oprah, Kephar Ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns and their villages. Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Kephirah, Mozah, Rechem, Irpeel, Terlah, Zelah, Haleph, and the Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem, Gibeh, and Kirioth, 14 towns and their villages. That was the inheritance of Benjamin for its clans. Chapter 19. The second lot came out for the tribe of Simeon according to its clans. Their inheritance lay within the territory of Judah. It included Beersheba, or Sheba, Molada, Hazar Shual, Bala, Ezem, Eltolad, Bethul, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hazar Suzah, Beth Lebaoth, and Sheruhen, 13 towns and their villages. Ein Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 towns and their villages, and all the villages around those towns as far as Balath Beer, Ramah in the Negev. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the Simeonites according to its clans. The inheritance of the Simeonites was taken from the share of Judah because Judah's portion was more than they needed. So the Simeonites received their inheritance within the territory of Judah. Allotment. The third lot came from Zebulun according to its clans. The boundary of their inheritance went as far as Sarid. Going west, it ran Marilah, touched Dabasheth, and extended to the ravine near Jokneam. It turned east from Sarid down toward the sunrise to territory of Kisloth Tabor, and went down to Daberath and up to Japhiah. Then continued eastward to Gath Hepher and Eth Kazin. It came out at Rimmon and turned toward Neah. There is a boundary that went around the north to Hanathon and ended up at the valley of Iphtah-el. Included were Katath, Nahalal, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem. There were 12 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were inheritance to Zebulun according to its clans. The fourth lot came out for Issachar according to its clans. Their territory included Jezreel, Kesuloth, Shunem, Hapharaim, Shion, Anerhathrath, Rabith, Kishion, Ebez, Remeth, En-Ganim, En-Hadah, and Beth-Pazez. The boundary touched Tabor, Shahazuma, and Beth-Shemesh, and ended at the Jordan. There were 16 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were inheritance of the tribe of Issachar according to its clans. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher according to its clans. Their territory included Helkath, Hali, Beitan, Akshaph, Alamelech, Amad, and Mishal. On the west, the boundary touched Carmel and Shehor-Libnath. It turned east towards Beth Dagon, touched Zebulun and the valley of Iphtah-el, went north to Beth Emek and Neiel, passing Kabul on the left. It went to Abdon, Rehob, Hammon, and Cana, as far as Greater Sidon. The boundary then turned back towards Ramah and went to the fortified city of Tyre, turned towards Hosa, and came out at the Mediterranean Sea in the region of Akzib. Ummah, Aphek, Rehob. There were 22 towns and their villages. These towns and their villages were inheritance of the tribe of Asher according to its clans. The sixth lot came out for Naphtali according to its clans. Their boundary went from Heleph and a large tree in Zananim, passing Adami Nekeb, to Jabneel, to Lakam, and ending at the Jordan. The boundary ran west through Asnoth Tabor and came out at Hukok. It touched Zebulun on the south, Asher on the west, and Jordan on the east. The fortified towns were Zedim, Zer, Hamath, Rekath, Kinnereth, Adamah, Ramah, Hazor, Kedesh, Edrei, En-Hazor, Iran, Migdal El, Horem, Beth Anath, and Beth Shemesh. There were 19 towns and their villages. These towns and villages, their villages, were the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali according to its clans. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan according to its clans. The territory of their inheritance included Zorah Eshtaol, Ir Shemesh, Shalabin, Ajalon, Ithla, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Eltakeh, Gibbethon, Balath, Jehud, Beni Barak, Gath, Rimmon, Me Jarkon, and Raycon, with the area facing Joppa. When the territory of the Danites was lost to them, they went up and attacked Leshem, took it, put it to the sword, and occupied it. Then settled in Leshem and named it Dan after their ancestor. These towns and villages were inherited to the tribe of Dan according to its clans. When they had finished dividing the land into its allotted portions, the Israelites gave Joshua, son of Nun, an inheritance among them, as the Lord had commanded. They gave him the town he asked for, Timnath-Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim, and he built up the town and settled there. These are the territories that Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the tribal clans of Israel assigned by lot at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting. And so they finished dividing the land. Chapter 20. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge, as I instructed you through Moses, so that anyone who kills a person accidentally and unintentionally may flee there to find protection from the avenger of the blood. When they flee to one of these cities, they are to stand in the entrance of the city gate and state their case before the elders of that city. Then the elders are to admit the fugitive into their city and provide a place to live among them. If the avenger of blood comes in pursuit, the elders must not surrender the fugitive, because the fugitive killed their neighbor unintentionally and without malice aforethought. They are to stay in the city until they have stood trial before the assembly and until the death of the high priest who is serving at that time. Then they may go back to their own home in the town from which they fled." So they set apart Kadesh in Galilee and the hill country of Naphtali, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah, east of the Jordan on the other side from Jericho. They designated Bezar in the wilderness on the plateau in the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth in the Gilead, in the tribe of Gad, and Golan in Bashan, in the tribe of Manasseh. Any of the Israelites or any foreigner residing among them who killed somebody accidentally could flee to these designated cities and not be killed by the avenger of blood prior to standing trial before the assembly. Chapter 21. Now the family heads of the Levites approached Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the other tribal families of Israel at Shiloh in Canaan, and said to them, the Lord commanded through Moses that you give us towns to live in, with pasture lands for our livestock. So as the Lord had commanded, the Israelites gave the Levites, the following towns and pasture lands out of their own inheritance. The first lot came out for the Kohathites, according to their clans. The Levites, who were descendants of Aaron, the priest, were allotted 13 towns from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The rest of Kohath's descendants were allotted 10 towns from the clans of the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and half of Manasseh. The descendants of Gershon were allotted 13 towns from the clans of the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and half tribe of Manasseh in the Bashan. The descendants of Merari, according to their clans, received 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites allotted to the Levites these towns and their pasture lands, as the Lord had commanded through Moses. From the tribes of Judah and Simeon, they allotted the following towns by name. These towns were assigned to the descendants of Aaron, who were from the Kohathite clans from the Levites, because the first lot fell to them. They gave them Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, with its surrounding pasture land in the hill country of Judah. Arba was the forefather of Anak. But the fields and villages around the city they had given to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, as his possession. So to the descendants of Aaron, the priest gave Hebron, the city of refuge of one accused of murder, Libnah, Jatir, Eshtemoa, Holon, Debir, Ain Juttah, and Beth Shemesh, together with their pasture lands, 9 towns from these 2 tribes. And from the tribe of Benjamin they gave them Gibeon, Geba, Anathoth, and Almon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. The total number of towns for the priests and descendants of Aaron came to 13, together with their pasture lands. The rest of the Kohathite clan of the Levites were allotted towns from the tribe of Ephraim. In the hill country of Ephraim, they were given Shechem, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, and Gezer, Kibzaim, and Beth-horon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. Also from the tribe of Dan they received Eltekeh, Gibbethon, Aijalon, and Gath-rimmon, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From half the tribe of Manasseh they received Tanash and Gath-rimmon, together with their pasture lands, 2 towns. All these 10 towns and their pasture lands were given to the rest of the Kohathite clans. The Levite clans of the Gershonites were given from half tribe of Manasseh, Golan in Bashan, city of refuge for one accused of murder, Eshtera, together with their pasture lands, 2 towns. From the tribe of Issachar, Kishion, Daberath, Jarmuth, and En-Ganim, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Asher, Mishal, Abdon, Helkath, and Rehob, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, Kadesh in Galilee, city of refuge for one accused of murder, Hamath Dor, and Kartan, together with their pasture lands, 3 towns. A total number of towns and Gershonite clans came to 13, together with their pasture lands. The Merarite clans, the rest of the Levites, were given from the tribe of Zebulun, Jokneam, Kartah, Dimnah, Nahalal, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Reuben, Bezar, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephath, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns. From the tribe of Gad, Ramoth in Gilead, a city of refuge for one accused of murder, Mahanaim, Heshbon, Jazer, together with their pasture lands, 4 towns in all. The total number of towns allotted to the Merarite clan, who were the rest of the Levites, came to 12. The towns of the Levites in the territory held by the Israelites were 48 in all, together with their pasture lands. Each of these towns had pasture lands surrounding it. This was true for all these towns. So the Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to give their ancestors, and they took possession of it and settled there. The Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had sworn to their ancestors. Not one of their enemies withstood them. The Lord gave all their enemies into their hands. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. The word of the Lord.